Welcome to Ridge Life. I'm Tim, and today on the Ridge, it is a rainy, wet day, but that's not going to stop us from working on our off-grid solar project. We're going to be working inside the tool shed today, getting some much-needed installation and wiring done. Let's go check it out. Stepping inside the tool shed, what we're going to be doing today is wiring in our 20 amp quad receptacles in, again, the tool shed here. We've got 4 total receptacles, and they are opposite the power shed wall. That's right behind this wall here. So it makes it very, very simple since I have that raceway behind it. The tools we're going to be using today, I've got some spool holders set up there with some 12 gauge black, white, and green. Of course, we got our trusty cobalt impact driver and some screwdrivers, strippers, and that should be about all we need today. Let's go inside the power shed side and see what we got to do in there. Step inside the power shed here, and we can see we've got these raceways or troughs, and this is right on the back side of the tool shed where we were. Open up the trough here. We can see right down there, that's the 3/4 inch hole that goes to the receptacle on the left side of the tool desk. And then if we open this one up, and this is the one for the right side of the tool desk, and it feeds with a 2-inch flex conduit up to this 200 amp panel. So this should be a fairly simple job today. Of course, famous last words. I will start off right now by saying, yes, I could and or should make one of these receptacles GFCI protected or use a GFCI breaker. I do not have a GFCI breaker, nor do I have GFCI receptacle in any of these 4 locations. Will I go back later and put one in? You'll just have to wait and see. But right now, we're going to go ahead and wire these 4 receptacles up. They're just general 20 amp receptacles. Without GFCI protection. You can leave a comment down below if you want to spank me on the rear and say, Tim, you're in a shed. A tool shed requires GFCI protection. We'll see. We'll see. Start off by getting these covers off here. Again, nothing's wired up. I had them on here for looks, just so everybody could see what it would look like with the final product. Now, I will say this. People say, Tim, you do your work 10 times. Well, it's to make the videos look better. I want to have a finished looking product, and that's just part of it. So let me go ahead and get these off. Oops, dropped the screw. I know why this screwdriver isn't working very well. It's because I'm using a Phillips instead of a square. All right, get the square bit out here. That one, let's see if that fits. Oh yeah, that's the perfect size. I'm gonna go ahead and get I love my little set power cooler here, keeping everything nice and chilly. Keep me hydrated. Water, not Coke Zero, guys. It's water. All right, so let me get this one off over here. Don't drop the screws, Tim. Don't drop the screws. Almost. These little screws are a pain in the tuchus. All right, got the square on here now. This should be should be perfect size. Here we go. Oh yeah, look at that. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Of course, if I had my glasses. One. All right, now you can start running some cable in there. All right, white, black, and green. These are all 12 gauge. 12 gauge for 20 amp receptacles. And I've got 20 amp breaker for the panel. Now I shouldn't have to use any fish tape today. I should just be pushing this right through the wall, run it down the trough, and then I could, that 2-inch conduit I have in there for the 200 amp panel is not very long. I should be able to push the cable through it. This is spooled cable, so I may need to use the fish tape on that. That's a good possibility, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So let me go ahead and get this set down on the ground. All right. Set that right there, and I should be able to just pay this off under into the wall. Stick that right in there. Alrighty. Let's go on the other side. Start pulling. All right, here we go. Just need to pull behind here and just push it right through the hole there. Only need about 6 or so to 10 inches sticking out. There we go. That should be enough. Let's go check that out. All right, that looks good right there. About the right amount hanging out. And if we come over here, we can see our spool work just fine. I can cut the same amount on this side. One there and one there. And finally, if I can get it with one hand, one right there. Perfect. Now we can get our 200 amp panel cover off. Same square bit. Tim, why don't you just leave the cover off? You're doing this like 14 times. Well, when I end the video, like I said earlier, it looks better to complete things than to leave them open and hanging. So it's really just for video effect, and also my OCD, which is really the main reason is my OCD. So if we look inside the panel here, we've got our well pump wires and our receptacle out by the gazebo. So let me go ahead and get these out of the way. They all come out from down there. Remember me doing that? That was pretty fun job. So now we got to run more of our 12 gauge wires down through there and around. So I'm going to try to push them up through and pull them out. I think I can do it, guys. I really do. All right, I'm hoping I've got enough left on these spools to make it all the way up into the panel. We'll find out once I start to get pulling here. So there we go. Let's push. Whew. That's going to be a close one. I need enough to either go over and around or under and around because we got the neutral bus and I also have a ground bus. I'll probably put the ground bus right there. So the ground one's a short one. So if I come up this way and I put the receptacle on this side, I should have enough. So let's go ahead and let's see if we can fish it up there. Will it go all the way through? Oh, it's so close. Don't get bound up. Don't get bound up. It's got to be right close there. Let's see if if I twist it, twist, and push. Gotta go through. It's got to be right there. Oh yeah, there it is, right there. I just got to get a little handle on it. Time to cheat. I remember I had these really, really long needle nose, and I bet they will. Oh, it dropped. Okay, I gotta push it back up. Push it back up. I was right there. All right, so it's right there. I grab a hold. Okay, now pull. Oh yeah! I get happy with the simplest things. Love it. All right, let's see how much I can get through here. Perfect. All right, back in over here on the tool side, I've go ahead and got the wires pulled back, and you can see one's taped 1, and that's the one that goes to the 200 amp panel. The other one's taped 2, and that's the one that runs back over here and then I've taped that one too also. So now I can wire nut pigtails to here that goes to all the receptacles. But first, let's go ahead and label our cables inside our 200 amp panel. This one says well pump. This one says gazebo receptacle. Now I got to do the same thing to this one right here. So maybe we'll go ahead and write on here. We'll call this tool receptacles. Tool receptacles. All right, so I can just pull this off about right there. And let's see, same distance down, get them paralleled. Right there. I gotta get them, oops. It's a little harder than it looked, wasn't it? Keeping them parallel, there we go. Parallel, oops. Here we go. Stay together. There we go. All the way down. Boom. I like it. And then I just bend this side over, and there we go. Now, that one is tool receptacle, well pump, and gazebo receptacle. Now for some fun electrical wiring stuff. I've got 3 pigtails right here for one receptacle. So basically the wires coming out of the wall, I will wire nut these pigtails on there. I got red wire nuts for the first one because there'll be 3 12 gauge wires, and you can handle up to 4 12 gauge wires in a red wire nut. And then over on this side, coming out of the wall, I'll use yellow pigtails, which you can handle 2 12 gauge wires, which is what we'll have. And these pigtails will stick out of the wall, and that's what we'll wire our receptacles to. Now, we've got 2 receptacles, right, side by side. I like the grounds up. And in the back of my receptacles, these are some high dollar receptacles here. We can see, if you look, let's get some light on there, right? We have these screw terminals right here, and then you push the wire in and then tighten the screw terminal. They're not the stab in kind. Stab in kinds are only good for 14 gauge, not 12 gauge, but these are really, really good ones. The other kind that don't have the holes, you can put the loop. I don't have solid copper. I've got Romex is solid copper. This is stranded wire. I'm using stranded wire inside of my tool shed. So that's why I'm doing that. So I've got shorter wires, and what they'll do is they'll jumper the ground wire over, the neutral wire over, and the hot wire over. L1, L2, and L1 neutral and ground. So I need to strip these back. I only need about 1/4 of an inch because they're not making a loop, right? So just 1/4 inch, and they'll go inside there. And I got to do all of these about 1/4 of an inch. Let's see here. There we go. Let's see. I got the red, the white, the black, and ouch! This will wear your fingers out for sure. All right, and again, these will just go right in behind there, and then tighten that down. Super simple. I'll get to these next 3, and we'll get them wired up. That rain is really coming down now. Whew, man. I don't know if y'all will be able to hear me working inside, but we got to keep the work going. I guess I'll just let y'all watch me work in the rain. Listen to the rhythm of the falling rain. Ooh, my singing's terrible. I apologize, I apologize, I apologize. That's pretty bad. But I tell you, electrical work will really wear your fingers out a little bit. It's fun though, it's fun. All right, so pigtail time. Let's see, white to white. Probably could have used to trim the white ones back just a little bit more on that one, but that'd be all right. Get 3 in there. Twist, 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 twist. Now you want to make sure when you twist in these you give a tug. Oh, that's why, right there. Did you see that? Yeah, I didn't cut those short enough. So lesson learned. Okay, so let me go ahead and cut those a little bit longer. I mean, not shorter. You want a good deal of copper sticking out there. I did on the jumpers. I forgot when I was doing these back. I didn't do them long enough, but it'll be all right. I will correct that on the other side before I do that. All right, so that is that. Drop my jumper there. And I already have, so I've got a 1/4 inch short one and a long one. Now, this should be better. All right, so let's do white. Oh yeah, those are same length now, and those should give a better bite. Better bite in the wire nut. All right, you can use up to 4, but I don't know, man, 4 is a lot. Okay, so twist, twist, tug, tug, and tug. I like it. All right, so now black. You're seeing real world scenarios here, guys. Real world. That one stuck me. Sometimes electricians say when they get shocked that that wire was sharp. That's not funny. But no, that wire stuck me. All right, so 3 wires here. Got to get them all the same length. Getting the same length is kind of hard sometimes whenever they're one on the wall like that. That's why you do pigtails. It's so much easier when you do pigtails like this. There we go. Now I got them together. Pigtails. And some people don't do pigtails. They just go straight in, straight out. But I like doing pigtails. You got to push all 3 wires in tight. Uh-oh, I can tell right now that one pulled out. That one pulled out. Get a little bit farther up there. Man, almost need to get bigger. Bigger wire nuts. I do have some bigger ones. Red should be fine though. Just gotta make sure you twist them. Twist them good. Whew. All right. Let's see now. Green, green, green. There's the green. There we go. All 3 together. And sometimes you can pre-twist and it helps. All right, tug, tug, tug. All right, those are all 3 done. Now we can start wiring in the receptacles. Because these receptacles have the ground, and I'm not using solid conductors, I'm going to go ahead and use spades, right? And I got to crimp these on. A lot of people don't go to this extent, but I do. Oh, that was hard. Get that in there. Gotta make sure it's tight. So I need, that's the jumper, 1, 2, 3. I need 3 of these. Just make sure I got them on the right ends. Ha 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 ha. There we go. Jump on. And then one on here. And I could use rings, but those screws are really hard to get off, but it'll be all right. Spades are just fine. Okay, ground connection. All right, let's go ahead and do, so receptacle 1 will have 2 grounds on it. So I go back to front. If you can see what I'm doing here, bottom. Yeah, I put them upside down. So that one goes this way, and this one sits flat on top of it, like that. And then I can tighten that right on there. Make sure I get them straight. And I'm using my Klein here with the square. Almost all this stuff, I mean, you can use a straight screwdriver or you can use Phillips, but it's really made for the square tip. I mean, you can really get a good, nice bite. So this one, okay, so we're going ground to ground. So I'll spin this around like this. And this goes right on it like that. And the grounds will hold them together for me. There we go. Hope y'all like electrical work. I know I do. It's fun. And it's fun when you see you finally turn it on and everything gets energized. Everything works perfectly. You know what I'm saying? It's just like amazing. All right, so I like the ground up. I call it Cyclops, right? You see, like, looks like a Cyclops. Whole, you know, eye at the top. All right. So now we've got to. This is the primary one. So silver is neutral. In case y'all didn't know, silver screw is neutral. Brass screw is hot. So I'm just going to set this farthest away from the ground as I can, just to give it more separation. Let's put that right in there. Come on, buddy, get in there. Ooh, got to make sure you get all the metal down in the hole. There we go. We don't want any kind of there we go, all the way in. We don't want any kind of little whisker. We call them whiskers sticking out. Tighten that one. Make sure this one's fully opposite direction. Okay, so now we've got the hot. Hot will go on the opposite side for the brass. Again, I want it furthest away from the ground. Tight. Okay, so now we've got the jumpers that go over, and I'm going to put this jumper in there. Now see, this jumper's over here, so that's why you can do that. And there's two holes here. I could do both those, but I already tightened this one down, so that's fine. Okay, tight. Oh, lost my bit. Okay, got my bit back. There we go. All right, so in it, silver. Make sure I got silver to silver. And so we got ground. I'm gonna push this one right through there. And silver will go again as farthest away from the ground as I can. Again, that's just my preference. Tim's a little special, right? Tim's a little special. Don't say special ed. My daughter's a special ed teacher. I'm very proud of her. All right, so that is there. Now we need the hot. The hot. We're feeling hot. All the way in there. Guys, we're getting close to being done here. I like it so sweet. Man, every day just a little bit closer. Just a little bit closer. All right. Right there. No whiskers. There we go. No whiskers. No whiskers. No diggity. Funny. All right, so that is that. Everything is tight. And let's see. Flip it like this. So we're just like this. We got our jumpers. Everything can go in there. I'm going to leave this completely off, but I'm going to put the panel cover on it like this because I've got to do a rough-in inspection. So I need the inspector to be able to see this. So what I'm going to do is just put these on. Again, so this is just like this. I'll put the small screw in here. This way nothing disappears. Nothing, you know. And see, normally I would cover everything up, but because I'm getting ready for rough-in inspection, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave this hanging just like this so the inspector can come by and go, "That looks amazing, dude." So he said, "That's gonna look so amazing." Some people, especially if they're using metal boxes and stuff, see, I'm not using metal boxes, they'll put electrical tape around the outside of these so nothing touches. Obviously, I'm using a plastic box, so nothing's gonna touch. And so we'll just put this in there real pretty, And goodness gracious, this is awesome. Another thing you can do is pre-jumper your receptacles before you get down to the box. So we're going to do that on this one. So I'm going to call this number 2, and go ahead and put the ground on. Ooh, listen to that rain coming down. Good to be able to do some work inside when it's raining. A lot of people, how many people on YouTube do you know, oh, it's raining, I can't get no work done? Well, if you're working on a subfloor outside or a roof or something like that, I understand. But if you've got a dried in room, you can be doing electrical and plumbing and you know, finish work and stuff like that, or power shed, solar. You know, I got a lot of work to do outside, but today it's raining. Let's come inside and do some receptacle wiring, right? So, yeah, I never quite understood that, but people do what people do. Okay, so now we got to get, okay, so upside down, you're turning me, you're burning me, upside down. Don't be laughing at me, guys. Don't be laughing at me. All right, so this one, sometimes you need 3 hands here. Again, a lot of people do not use spades and ring terminals and stuff like this. It just adds a little bit of expense to your project. But when you want really good connections, I mean, of course, a lot of people when they're doing housing and stuff, you've got Romex or solid copper wire, and if that was the case, I would just do a little loop, righty-tighty, and it would, you know, hold the loop on. When I can do the off-grid barn house, yeah, it's going to be Romex, and I won't be using any of these ring terminals, spades, and all that stuff. But for the solar, this is more like industrial. You know, I'm doing the power system. It's really more of an industrial environment. That's why I'm using stranded wire and little heavier duty equipment here. So, all right, so let's see, coming in, we've said this one is number 1 and this one is number 2. So again, let's put this right in there, tighten that up. This is silver, all right, white into silver, and black into brass, right across from it. Hope this light behind me is not too bright, obscuring everything. Okay, so those are done. Now we got to go in. So let's see, make sure I get it right. That's just like this. All right, so silver. Ooh, I got a little whisker there. Silver and gold. Silver and gold. Burl Ives, everybody. I kind of look like Burl Ives, don't I? Shh, don't you be talking like that. It's not nice. Silver and gold, silver, no whiskers, all right. And last but not least, brass. Slide that all the way. If you cut the insulation back, it just slides in at the exact right length, or depth, I should say. All right. So now, all I got to do is, oh, where'd these go? Did I make extra? Oops, I made extra, but oh no, oh crap! I was like, what did I do wrong? I forgot. Okay, these go in here. I was like, what the? Jump the gun a little bit, Tim. I got one pigtail coming out, and I didn't have the other pigtail. I remember now. You all the lugs go closed. Yep. Oh no, Tim. This is number 2. No, this is right. Number 1. Oh, all right. You're losing it, Tim. You're losing it. The last one of the day. Of course you're losing it. Yeah, this is number 2. This is number 1 with all the pigtails on it. They're going to get wire nutted. And this one goes right in there. There we are. Goodness gracious, Tim. Act like you've never done this before. Actually, I've not really done much of residential. I am industrial. Okay, now that looks better. Now, let's get this put in the last box. All right, just like that. We got green to green. Do a little pre-twist. Yellow wire nut for 2 12 gauge. Tug, tug, tug. Rub-a-dub-dub. Tug, tug, tug. All right, let's see. Black to black. Get a little pre-twist. If you got arthritis, this will work you out. I'll tell you that right now. Tug, tug. And let's see. Little whites over here. Probably could have cut these a little bit shorter for yellow wire nuts, but it'd be all right. As long as none's sticking out the bottom. Tug, tug, tug. All right. That looks upside down. That looks amazing. And let me go ahead and get this cover on here. And then I'll show you another little prep thing I do. Put that on there. Don't have to put this too tight because this I will have to take off again. There we are. Get on there. Get in my belly. But I don't want it to come off. Okay, so another thing I do is these right here, I fold flat. That's in the way. You can see, fold these flat, and that way when you push it back in there, they're not in the way. And then these will just spin around all pretty like. So there you go, guys. We got all this one done. Let's go back in the power side and pretty that up so we can leave it nice and presentable for our rough-in inspector, state inspector, when he comes out. I always want him to look at this, go, that looks amazing. I'm not going to look too deep, and walk away. Checkbox passed. Now it's time to pretty everything up in here. Got a bunch of zip ties to get the for wire management. In case you didn't notice, I've got the DC cables ran to the front of the raceway, and I'm going to have all the AC cables and wires ran to the back. So I'll have physical separation. I can use some sticky backs and things to hold the cables against the back wall. But usually when I run the inverter cables, they're pretty heavy duty cable. They're a 6 gauge. They'll hold it. Because this is 10 gauge. The 6 gauge for the inverters to the 200 amp panel are pretty big. So anyway, that'll keep that physical separation there. Let me go ahead and get a bunch of these put on. Again, I'm going both directions and make sure everything is good. Got to make it look pretty. And again, when the state inspector comes and sees something looking really tidy, as long as it's to code and done correctly, he's less likely to nitpick about little things. You know what I'm saying? And that's always a good thing, to be a little less nitpicky about the small things. So let me get these zip tied here, and I'll be right back. Got the cables in the 200 amp panel spooled up there nice and pretty. We can see the receptacle wires going in there are all zip tied very, very nicely. Everything comes out of the hole right there all the way down. You can see the separation between the DC and the AC cables. Now I've got a GFCI receptacle just outside the wall there, and another one on the center column. Can't see it because of the truck right there. So there's 2 more receptacles in that circuit. We've also got a receptacle right here on the wall, and behind there is the mini split. Don't forget that 120 volt mini split from EG4. That's it right there. And then right on the side there, another receptacle. And out the hole right there, that's that 50 amp, 30 amp, and GFCI receptacle box for plugging up campers and stuff. So that's we're making progress, guys. God, there's not that much left. Everything looks so good too, I think. All right, let me button it up and I'll be right back. Well, hopefully you enjoyed watching us wire up those receptacle boxes. Much more to come. Not only got receptacles, we've also got the inverters to wire up. Right, we've got the communication cables to do for the inverters and the batteries. We got the main power leads. And of course, we got the battery leads from the 600 amp box up to the inverters. Is there anything else? Oh, wire up the 200 amp panel. And then I think we call in the inspector and say, how does it look? Give me a thumbs up, please, please, please. And then we finish wiring everything up and pretty it up, button it up, and then call them back in. Final inspection and power up. I'm getting married pretty soon. I'm trying to get this done before I get married. That's coming up. And then, of course, as soon as I get back from getting married, we're going to start off on the off-grid barn house. Get the HVAC pass through, the water lines trenched over to it. We got to get the electrical lines dug and trenched over to it. And then, of course, start doing the subfloor itself, termite shield and all that good thing. So lots to do this spring and summer here on the Ridge. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell to be notified anytime any of these videos come out. And guys, I love every single one of you. Until next time, hope everyone has a blessed day. Go Ridge Life.